Hellfest was directed by Gregory Plotkin, who directed Paranormal Activity: The Ghost Dimension. Thankfully, this movie is a shit ton better than that. To be fair to him and to anybody that had a hand in that movie, nothing was going to get any more juice out of that mashed up piece of fruit that was the Paranormal Activity franchise. And by the way, some of my guilty pleasure movies. I mean, and even I had a problem defending the Ghost Dimension. Yeah, it wasn't very good. But anyway, Hellfest is a great send up and paying homage and respect to the 70s and 80s slasher movies that Wes Craven's Scream made fun of. The movies and the TV series to an extent, and I'll get to that in a bit. This was a really nice, fun, great send up and great, just enjoyable slasher movie that wasn't anything necessarily, groundbreaking. It was fun though. Even if it was familiar, it was still fun, and you could tell the filmmakers had fun with it, and the cast had fun with it. And that's really what I appreciate about a lot of horror movies, is if you're going to have something this goofy and this, basic, at least have fun with it and enjoy yourselves. And make it as fun as possible, as cheesy as possible, as whatever. Don't ham it up for, pay respect to the material, but also recognize it as what it is. There will be spoilers in a couple minutes, and I will put a time code in the description. I will put a time code in the title, and I will wave my hands. I do want to say, though, that I did appreciate the cast in this movie. I thought that it was really nice. There was a good camaraderie among the 6 main characters, at least for the time that they were all on screen. Of course, being a slasher movie, they get picked off eventually. But with this, the basic plot is you have, these 6 friends, or these 6 people that know each other. And a couple years after this, one girl was actually killed at this Hellfest theme park, this horror theme park, and actually killed by a guy that you never get to see the face of, by the way. You never, because he's got a mask on, because all these killers have to have masks. So why in the world, that'd be kind of bad to show automatically who the killer is. This is not the Eyes of Laura Mars. Which, by the way, pretty obvious who the killer was in that movie. That movie didn't do a very good job of it. Anyway, typical opening, killer kills a girl, and they discover her body and this kind of stuff. And a couple years later, you have Natalie, who shows up at the house of her friend Brooke, played by Reen Edward, who is from The Bold and Beautiful. The character of Natalie was played by Amy Forsyth, who was in Torment. And, of course, the one cast member I was really looking forward to, Bex Taylor-Klaus, who was Audrey in MTV's Scream. Love her. Fantastic actress. Really is going to do a whole lot of great shit in her career. Whether she sticks to acting, whether she does activist work, whether she does whatever she does, she is going to be a big star for a number of years. A good 20 to 30 years if she wants to stick to this. She really does have it. Audrey is one of my favorite, pretty much my favorite character of the MTV Scream series. Really cool, and she's a great spokesperson for the LGBT community. Being a lesbian herself, she is really out there about things she's passionate about. And just seems like a cool, down-to-earth person. She honestly does. I mean, I've never met her. I have no idea. I'm just basing solely on interviews and just how genuine she comes across on screen. And that is one thing that I did appreciate about this, is even though a lot of characters were cookie cutter and were just pretty much one-dimensional, at least they all seemed to have a good camaraderie as friends. And they needed that camaraderie because they all decided to go to Hellfest, and this is just a couple years after the whole thing happened with that girl having a bad case of the murdered. They get these VIP passes from this guy Natalie's interested in, Gavin. And it's like, okay, they can get onto these rides instantly and this kind of stuff, or get into these mazes. And it's a really cool just set of mazes and people in on the act and people scaring everybody, and all these patrons and stuff like that. People dressed up as clowns or dolls or scary imagery all around and everything. And of course, because this wouldn't be a slasher movie without a killer there, there's the same killer from before. He's there. And of course, since everybody, is kind of in on the whole thing, no one's going to notice if somebody goes stabby, stabby, die until it's too late. This is pretty much, that's basically the plot right there. You have Natalie, Brooke and Bex Taylor-Klaus, who plays the character Taylor, and their respective boyfriends. Except in the case of Natalie, she's interested in that guy Gavin. He's interested in her. It's so silly. It's so basic and silly that you almost think, okay, you almost just like want to roll your eyes. And there are a lot of jump scares. There are some jump noise scares and stuff like that. Where they do the boom, boom, that kind of stuff. It almost feels like it's making fun of that though, and that's kind of nice. Now there are no times where I jumped in this movie. I will say that. But I enjoyed myself. I had a smile on my face very often. And it's been a while since watching a movie just as silly that I've actually had a smile on my face while watching it. I really do, again, want to put over Bex Taylor-Klaus. I really think that she is a fantastic actress and was actually the best part of this movie. And that's nothing against anybody else. Tony Todd, one of my favorite, horror actors from Candyman, Final Destination, and a few others. He was also in The Rock, which is not a horror movie, except for Nicolas Cage's acting. But then again, every movie with Nicolas Cage's acting is horrifying, especially Face Off. Face Off is fun, though. But anyway, Tony Todd doesn't really get a name here, but he does make an appearance. He does some voiceover work stuff, too, for the theme park. But he does he does make an appearance, and that is really, really pretty damn cool. So yeah, should you actually go watch this movie? Yes, if you're a fan of 70s, 80s slasher movies, if you enjoy just having a lot of fun, if you like any of the cast members, if you like all the cast members, the main cast members, absolutely 100% go. It's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. Nothing groundbreaking, nothing unfamiliar, but fun. And I mean, it's worth seeing in theaters. It is worth seeing. So that's where we're going to actually stop with, and we're going to get into spoilers. So right here at about 7 minutes, just so you know, we're going to get into spoilers here. This is your warning. 3, 2, 1, and go. You don't get to find out a whole bunch about the characters. Natalie kind of alludes to some stuff that she's had where she's been studying a lot. And you get to find out more and more. You get to find out a little bit about her family life that may be good, may be bad. I do want to say one thing: you don't ever get to find out who the killer is. And the people that die, you would expect them to die. The deaths are pretty inventive. The theme park is really, really cool. Of course, everybody gets separated because in these movies, everybody must always get separated. There isn't a lot really to spoil, though, because you really can kind of guess where everything's going to end up. Shockingly, and it's like the stereotype thing, in horror movies where the black person dies first. No, shockingly, no, actually that doesn't happen. Rain Edwards is the one I'm referring to, and I don't even know. The whole point is usually anybody that's a different skin tone than white usually dies in a lot of these horror movies. The thing about it is, though, is everything isn't what it seems, and since everything is always like, scary, when Natalie, Brooke, and Taylor see this one girl that's being pursued by the killer, and she hides in this one area that she's not supposed to be in, they think it's all part of the act. Well, I mean, Taylor and Brooke do. And then Natalie's like not so sure. And then they leave, and only Natalie's there, and the killer's got her. It's like they say, "Oh, by the way, your victim you're chasing is underneath this curtain and everything," and he gets her and stabs her, and then Natalie's like, "That was a bit too realistic." Of course, it turns out the girl actually died, because stabbing kind of leads to death if you don't get it treated, and even if you do, that tends to be how slasher movies work. There is some good gore, but at the same time, it almost feels a little bit tame. Like, there's some good stuff, like some good visceral effects, like with a lot of the sets and everything, but it almost feels a bit tame with some of its gore, except when Gavin dies. And again, sorry if you're still listening to this, spoilers. There's like the smashy mallet that you use to knock the bell into the, or knock the bell into the little, thing, like, hit it, like, be the strongest man. And he uses the mallet and smashes Gavin's head because Gavin was trying to get a gift for Natalie because he was trying to make her, impress her and everything. And he went to go steal a stuffed toy and got smashed in the head with a mallet. That's your lesson, guys. Do not do anything nice for a girl you like, or you will suffer a crippling headache. I think that's how it goes. Maybe not. Maybe just don't steal the stuffed toy. Make your own. Make your own, not out of human skin. That would be bad. This review's gotten a little weird. So, the whole point of this is, all this time the killer's obviously masked because you're not going to see who it is. It's the same company that designed the mask for the killer in MTV Scream and Happy Death Day, the stupid baby one. I did a review of Happy Death Day, by the way. I will put a playlist of those reviews up at the end of this video, including a couple recent ones that I've done. And you guys can check that out. Happy Death Day I wasn't very kind to, even though it had a good idea. But see, that's the thing. This one at least understands what it is. Now, as things go on, the only two that end up left alive are Natalie and Brooke. And they're trying to take down the killer and everything, and they figure out all this stuff. Like, they figure out a way to take him down. Bex probably has the best death out of any of them. Because she seems to be the one fighting a little bit, but then, and ends up meeting her end. The killer's motives, you never really find out why. There's this earlier scene where you got Gavin and Natalie and they're making out and everything, and this photo booth. The phone booth, that'd be kind of weird. That'd be really crowded, especially if the birds start attacking. But anyway, this photo booth thing where it like prints out the little Polaroid thing, in a little strip like that, and the killer takes him. Well, it later gets revealed that the killer like takes keepsakes and everything from when he goes out and kills. And you kind of wonder why he would take the photos. Like, why would he take the photos? What in the hell is this about? So as the movie goes on, everything, like I said, it gets down to Brooke and Natalie, the two best friends. It's unfortunate that Bex did die, but I had a feeling she would. And it was fitting. It honestly was, because even though she was a big character in it, I think that the character warranted being killed. But they figure out a way basically to dispatch the killer. Finally the cops get called and stuff like that, and the killer's not found. So you're wondering what the hell's going on and everything. And what happens is this killer, even though he got stabbed, goes home. He has various masks in this cabinet, and he keeps humming this weird tune, like, various times, like when he goes to kill and stuff like that, or when he's trying to just maybe the way to calm him down and everything before he kills people. Well, he does this, and there's this little girl on the couch, and the girl says, "Daddy," and, "Oh, you brought me something," and he unmasks, but you only see from the back of his head. So it pretty much implies that we're going to get a sequel with it. So basically, that's pretty much the end of the movie. A nice little 90-minute movie. I do want to say that the set pieces, the gore, the deaths are pretty cool. It's nothing. It is a very quick-paced movie. It is not something that you are going to go into and be like, "Oh wow, this is this is like fantastic, one of the best movies I've ever seen." If you guys think that, that's totally fine. I'm not going to fault anybody, but this was really, really enjoyable. It wasn't anything spectacular, but on a fun scale, I gotta say a B plus. I'm not gonna say A, obviously, but B to B plus, because had it not been for the cast having fun with this movie, had Bex Taylor-Klaus not been in it, I think I probably would have graded this half a grade lower. But sure, okay, maybe I'm showing a little bit of bias, but I'm putting her, I'm using my being a fan of hers to bump this grade up a little bit. But plus, I also just had a lot of fun with it. You never get to find out the killer's identity. Maybe you get a sequel out of it. Who knows? But the bottom line is, it's really, really enjoyable. And again, a throwback to the 70s and 80s where you didn't always get everything explained to you. Like, sometimes you were left with a whole lot of questions, whether it would lead to a sequel or whether you were left to make your own interpretations. The killer could have very well been somebody that was related to Natalie. considering that he, he opens up the little cabinet and there's pictures of her seemingly with him, or maybe not. Maybe it's an older brother. Maybe it's her father. Probably an older brother, I would guess. Or, I would say that maybe an ex-boyfriend, but the problem is then you have the whole thing with the kid there at the end, and Natalie's too young to be a mother. There's no damn way. But I'm guessing older brother or father. But anyway, so yeah, I enjoyed Hellfest. I thought it was a whole lot of fun, and I hope you guys really enjoyed this review, especially if you saw the movie and you wanted to watch it all the way through. Watch it with the spoilers. So what do you guys think of this? Did you guys enjoy the movie? Did you not enjoy the movie? Do you think I was too kind with it? What do you guys think of the reviews? Let me know. Let me know some movies that you want me to review in the comments below. And make sure to like, share, subscribe, leave some comments, and Twitter link or Twitter handle in the description. It's been real awesome with John Rethlin, and I will see you soon.